Hey, just wanted to make a quick video about removing the EGR and blocking off the EGR tube. This is for a Gen 2 Mazdaspeed 3, and I'm sure that it could probably work for a Gen 1 as well. The same concept, these are just some tips and tricks. Now, there's many videos. If you don't already know what EGR does, look those up, you can find those. And I'm also not going to go through the part of, taking out the intake and the battery and all that, because you can find loads of information on that. I just couldn't find anything on the EGR. So basically, what you want to do is just take out all this stuff out. I'll just putting this just for reference, just so you can see. This where your turbo is down there, and you need to take out the intake. You need to take out the battery. Anything that gives you a little bit more space. Next thing you want to do, there's this tube here that actually is connected to the throttle body. You want to take that tube out, place it aside, and getting the throttle body was really easy. It was just 4 bolts, I think 8mm. You take that out and you move it to the side just so you have some room. There's some coolant lines running through it. You don't need to take those off. And right here is where the tube goes. Now, this is compression fitted and it's 22mm. Remember that, 22. It's going to be kind of a pain to get it off, but once you crack it open, it just comes off really easily, and you can pull the tube right out. And that tube actually goes to this side of the engine, and it's right there. Now the EGR, I've already taken it off, but I just want to kind of give you some tips on it. Basically, this goes here, like so, and there's a coolant line running from the turbo into it and then into the engine, and I believe it's the hot side. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but as soon as I started cracking this open, it's just 2 bolts, I believe 8mm as well. Coolant started leaking everywhere, and I needed to do a coolant flush anyways, so I just drained my coolant before I did it. What you could do is you could probably just use some vice grips on this tube here, and you'll get a little bit of coolant out, but not too much. So once you have the EGR valve completely removed and the tube itself, then we can continue to placing our Damon Motorsport. We have the block-off plate here for the EGR, where the EGR used to be at, and then the plate for the actual EGR tube, and that will go on next. So now that we took out that tube, we're just going to install the bung that came with our kit, and that goes right there. And I just put a little bit of RTV sealant on there. See if you can see that. And you want to tighten that down to around 90 foot-pounds of torque, and we'll do that now. Now that we got the tube bung installed, we're going to now have the plate for it installed as well. And this one, same thing, just going to use some RTV sealant on it, and it goes on there right there. And you use the bolts that came out of your tube when you first took it off. No, you probably don't have to, but I've taken the gasket that was on here and I've placed it in between the plate that's going to cover this hole right here. Get some light on it. There we go. So you can use the factory gasket that comes on, or you just bolt it on like that. It's not like any exhaust is going to go through there anymore. Next, you want to torque that to about 75 inch-pounds, and your throttle body, the service manual says 71 to 97 inch-pounds, so I'm probably just going to do around 80, 85. So lastly, we're just going to replace, or put this plate down where the EGR valve was. Now it's important to note just the orientation of the plate. basically want it to where it fits, obviously, and this top part here with the threads, that's gonna have the fitting for your coolant line. So you want that to match at the top here, because the coolant will go on this side right there. Also torque that to about 70 inch-pounds or so. And I also forgot to mention that you use the bolts that came with the kit. These bolts that were on the EGR valve itself, these are going to be too long, so make sure you do that. The last step you want to do is tighten down the brass fitting here that came with the kit. There we go. And then this this tube here, this rubber hose, this one, all I had to do for it to fit and not kink, because it would kink up really badly over here, all I did was just flip it around and it doesn't kink at all, and you can still get a good fitment. And I use the supplied clamp here and then the stock hose clamp there. And that should be it. All you gotta do now is just put everything back together. If you have the Cobb access port, make sure to turn off the check engine code for the EGR, because it will come up. Lastly, because weight reduction, bro, taking out your EGR valve not only improves performance and, you know, yada yada, keeps a cleaner engine, you save 1.55 pounds in doing so. So there you go. Hope this video helped a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure I made mistakes along the way, and as long as I help somebody, then that's always great. Have a good one.